Hello, welcome to this video on how you can manage your Apple Mac devices and their version as well. As you might know, Apple often releases new versions, either for iPhones or Macs, or any of their other products really. And obviously those often also fix security related issues or just general issues in general or add features, etc. And it's important for you to also know which versions you have running in your environment so that you're safe, you're secure, and that you know exactly if any of the devices that you have in your IT environment are vulnerable to any of the vulnerabilities that Apple has fixed recently. So to help you do that, we're going to dive into Lansweeper and show you exactly how you can view all of your Mac devices, which details we provide you, and also how you can use that data to your advantage and see exactly which devices are vulnerable to potential vulnerabilities. So let's dive in. Here on the dashboard, we're going to start by just giving you a view of how you can get to your Apple devices. So I'm going to head over to Inventory first, where if I go to Asset Types, it's an easy way to get to all of my Apple Mac devices. And this is an easy way to just get over here, and then you can go to an individual asset to take a look at its individual properties, where we get a summary of the hardware details that the device has, as well as additional data. When we go to the software tab, we get a full overview of all of the software that is installed on this device, along with version, publisher, install date, etc. So all details you might need if any of the software that's installed on your Mac has an issue, or there are vulnerabilities that have been fixed. You can also use that data to your advantage and find exactly which devices have vulnerable software running on it. One that gets frequently updated is obviously the built-in browser, Safari. So that's one that you'll probably be using quite a bit as well. Additional information that we do provide here on the assets page directly. So if we scroll down a bit, we have built-in lifecycle information. So we'll show you exactly how long your operating system is supported, how long your specific model is supported, if there are end of life or end of support dates available. Apple famously is a bit hesitant on providing that information, so you'll have to make sure that you take a look at that yourself as well. For the additional info as well, there is risk insights. So we provide you with all of the vulnerabilities that we've been able to automatically detect on that device or that are linked to that device based on the NIST information that we do pull in. So you'll be able to see at least what we've been able to automatically identify is vulnerable on that specific device. Another way of viewing the data and getting an overview of all of the devices that you are interested in is by using reports. Now, specifically for Apple and the updates that Apple releases, we do periodically release reports ourselves that we publish that will be available immediately in your Lansweeper site, and that you can consult straight away to take a look at all the devices that might be vulnerable to a specific vulnerability, or in most cases that means that they haven't been updated to the latest version yet. For example, if we head over in Lansweeper itself to security and then vulnerabilities, that's where you'll find those type of reports. They'll be at the top because they start with an A. So if we take a look here at one of the latest ones, where it's specifically for iOS 16.6 and macOS 13.5, and additional updates that were released alongside those versions, we can see that we have a list here of all of our devices along with the macOS version. If we had mobile devices, those would also be listed, but we don't have them in this specific test environment. But we get all the version information here exactly that we would need to verify whether these devices are up to date or not. As you can see here, in most cases, they are not up to date. And so that being the case, in this specific report, we pre-filter on devices that are not up to date so that you have a list, a concrete list that you can start working on and seeing exactly which devices you will need to take action on. You will need to make sure that they're updated so that your environment is safe and protected against that. Another example that I mentioned earlier, one of the softwares that is often vulnerable or often updated on Apple is the built-in browser, so Safari. We also have a Safari version audit. I'll actually quickly rerun that because it's been a while since I've run that report, so we get the latest results. And this will basically give you a version or an overview of all of these Safari versions that are in your environment. So it'll give you a list of all of the devices along with each Safari version that is installed on those devices. As you can see here, we have a number of Safari installations, obviously one on each Mac device, along with the specific version of that Safari. Again, this is something you can use to verify whether your Safari installations are updating automatically as they should, and if a vulnerability is disclosed, that you can take a look as well whether your Safari versions are really updated quickly enough, because sometimes you want to make sure that they're updated on the same day to prevent anyone from abusing the vulnerabilities and getting into your network or whatever the vulnerability might allow them to do. And with that, I think we've covered everything there is to really manage your Apple devices better, ensure that you are on the latest version of macOS or the mobile OS versions as well, and that you're able to identify devices that you need to take action on as quickly as possible. So with that, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.